Good morning. Hand today is Ace 10 of clubs. So in this hand, cutoff raises. Cutoff's playing 22-8. Tight, mostly passive. Raise first in is 16% from the cutoff, 7% from the button. So he's probably raising his better hands in these positions, and he's limping with some of the weaker hands. So he said 16%. Maybe all suited aces. Could be all pocket pairs. If he's tight like that, maybe he doesn't do that. Maybe it's the broadways. Maybe something like that. 16%. Give him all of the Broadway hands. Maybe not put. That gives him reason to limp with like the suited aces, the suited connectors, the small pocket pairs. I think we'll go with that. I don't have anything else on him. And it's folds to me. So our options to call or raise or fold. A spot versus the cutoff. You can see that we're going to be playing a decent range overall. Our 3-bet range is in red. You can see that our 3-bet range is going to be definitely at the higher end. I do like raising with the ace 2, 3, 4, 5. Those small suited aces, because it mixes in our bluffs in this case. Having that ace reduces the chance that he himself has the ace itself, and really the aces that he has is ace 10 plus. I think the suited the pairs, the 10s, jacks, queens, kings, aces, are self-explanatory. They're strong hands. We're gonna 3-bet, and I do expect him to call with quite a few. I think with 10s and jacks, he might be folding, or I guess in general, if we raise, he might be folding those the weaker of his range. So probably these king 10, king jack, queen 10. Although he could be calling, his fold to 3-bets 40%, so he is going to give up some of the times. I do think he's going to be calling all of his pocket pairs. Our calling range is looking something like this, and I think that's probably okay. We could tighten up a little bit. So with our 3-bet range, instead of making it this, we could kind of tighten up, maybe just call 10s and jacks. And because if he calls and an overcard comes to us, we're probably going to be bait, so we can call for a little bit more cheaply. I still think we should be raising with some of these. Maybe raise with the suited ace 2, 3, 4, 5. And get rid of this 7, 6, 8, 7 possibly. But I called, and this is probably the range that I'm calling with. So we're gonna see a flop. I don't really think the 3.5 big blinds open range is telling. I think that's probably just a standard raise for him, especially being on the cutoff. If it is indicative of a better hand, it's probably going to be a better hand. So we'll say, queens plus maybe ace king, ace queen, maybe jacks. Try to get a few more folds out of people. So this is what we have going to the flop of 8 of clubs, 4 hearts, and 2 of spades. So 8 of clubs, 4 hearts, 2 of spades. My range's equity is 52.9. His is 47.1. So we're ahead of this because our calling range hits this better than his raising range, especially if we assume that his raising range is going to be skewed more towards broadways and pocket pairs. What's our plan? I think there's a possibility that we could get him to fold if we think he's going to c-bet. So right now he c-bets 100% of the time when he's in position, but really he's only been in that spot twice. It's possible that he will continue c-betting 100%. And I think if we check raised here, he will probably get rid of these offsuit connectors. Probably the broadways. He'll probably call with like ace king, ace queen, but I think king queen, king jack, queen jack probably is just gonna fold. So I think we can check raise as a bluff. I think if we check raise as a bluff, we have to have some possibility to connect, so to improve our hand if he ends up calling. And I'm not sure if this board is necessarily like that way. Yeah, there's 3 different ways to connect to the backdoor draw. So let's see here. We're gonna do. There's a couple ways for the backdoor draw. We could have, gut shot straights, but I mean, if you think about it, do I have ace 3? Probably not. Do I have 3-5? Probably not. Do I have 5-6, 6-7? It's a long shot if I have those. I mean, they're not in my range, but in terms of thinking, what does he think? I don't think he's gonna give me credit for 3-5. I mean, I've been pretty tight up to this point. These 9 hands, so I think in his mind we probably don't have a lot of those. So about the only thing that we would have is the backdoor 2-card backdoor flushes. So if I check raise, that's 32% of my hands. What other hands could I be check raising? I mean, you want to have some strong hands. You want to have a sets in the range. Maybe an overpair. Oops. We're going to change sets and overpair. Maybe that's it. I mean, maybe top pair. But the problem I see with this is that this board doesn't really connect with him very much. So while it's great to get a lot of folds from these 2-card backdoor flush draws, I think we're giving up equity. I think if we check call, assuming he c-bets, and then the turn brings an ace, a king, a queen, or a jack, I think it increases the chance that he's going to pay us. So the overpair is a 9. I think we could probably check raise with that. I mean, if we wanted to, we're doing it for equity, and maybe that's what we're doing is something like that, top pair and overpair, because we're trying to improve our equity. Maybe 5, 6, and 7s. Maybe that. I mean, we're check raising 55.8% of the time. That's pretty big check raise, but maybe that is appropriate. Maybe that is the range that we should be doing it with, instead of playing a check call. I mean, I think with this board we could probably just check fold a lot of the stuff. I mean, definitely we can't really call with these pairs. I think we can check call, and if we check call with 5, 6s, and 7s, we have to dodge any card higher than, let's say, a 10 jack, queen, king, and ace. So, and I think maybe that is the play. Maybe check raising is the play that we need to make here. So let's continue with that. I check. He bets. We're gonna say he bets basically 100% because this is mostly a dry board. And then I call. So let's give it. I think that is. Let's do that. That is our check raising range. We're gonna call with our sets. We're gonna call with the pocket pair below the second card, kind of as a flush. And we're gonna call with some of these overcards too. So what we're gonna do is get rid of those, because I don't want all of our pairs. make sure we get that. Yep. Oops. Yeah, that's better. So 44.2%. We've got the diamonds basically, and we're just calling the bluff guy. We're if he checks, we're gonna plan to take it away from him. So, and I don't really like this play. I mean, the set's fine. Sets we could probably include with the check raise, but I think check calling and then pocket pair below the second card could be a check call, and we have to and maybe then some of our backdoor flush draws could be check calls as well. I think this is a spot where he might be able to give up a lot of his hands to a check raise and give up his equity. All right, so turn is a 9 of clubs. Our range, our equity improved. All right, now is there any reason for us to bet? I don't think so. Not based on our hands. Maybe if we had 10 jack of clubs. Maybe if we had 10 jack of clubs. Yeah, I don't think, based on our hands, I think we just check here. We're going to look to see what he does. If he checks behind, then we're going to look to fire out a big bet on the river and try to take it down. That's going to be our play. I bet, and the question is, what am I going to bet here? I don't even like betting sets. I really don't. I think this just looks like it's a overly weak play. I mean, maybe we're having some draws, and then the question is, what other? Maybe that. So we're about 50-50 there for 12%. Now, granted, this hand probably doesn't help him, but I think there's easier ways to find out, because I think he's going to call with any of these draws. He's going to call with pairs and stuff. With the overpair, and it doesn't really tell us, well, if we connect with our draw, does that win, or are we ahead because he has? I think he's going to call with a flush draw. I think he's going to call with an open and a straight draw. Possibly call with a gut shot. I don't like this. I don't like this play at all. He calls. He does call. So we've got my hand here, which I have to think that is my play here. I don't like it. I think it's better if we just went ahead and checked it, and if he checks, then I think it's safe to say he probably doesn't have the overpair. So our 8s or 9s, our 10s would be good. If a club gets there, I think we could reasonably bet and represent that flush. So what does he have? So I bet and he calls. I think we're going to say overpair plus. I don't think he's going to have 6s or 7s. I think he's playing with flush draw, open ender. We'll just say that. And that's just based on this range that we assigned him. So 29.3%. He's got 61 hands, and you can see that his equity now is pretty good once he called. 7 of hearts. River. So 23.4 versus 76.6. And it's on us. We bet, and now he already called. The straight connected. I think we bet our straight here. I think we check basically, I think we bet our straight and probably our missed gut shot. Maybe not even all of them. Maybe just queen jack. And we check top pair. We look for showdown. We bet 30, which is sizable pot. He calls. I'm going to assume he has a pocket pair. Over pair. And he does. He shows the tens. It's in his range. We had him. And that's why I think he would have bet again. And I think we would have been able to fold the hand. Fold a lot of our weak hands instead of losing, what we did. I had the ace 10, and you can see I didn't have it because I think that could have been in a check raising range. I think check raising range, when we check raised, I think he's going to call with that 10, and then our equity improved with giving us the club, and I think at that point we could probably bet again, and we could probably plan for 3 barrels because the 7 does connect with a lot of our hands. I mean, 8, 9, 7, 8 gives us 2 pairs. We would probably then generate a fold. If he's sticky, he's not going to fold. But you can see that his C bets, folded C bets, about 50% or so on the flop, and then he increases it on the turn. And when you get to the river, 1 at showdown's 50%. I think that could have been our better play. I don't like how I played this hand. All right, if you like this hand, look tomorrow for another.